Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. This is the Bitcoin chart on the 4-hour time frame. We can see that we are fairly bullish still on Bitcoin. Bitcoin doesn't really want to come down. It's been moving between 30,200 and 30,400 for the last few days, and maybe today's stock market opening will trigger some volatility. At the moment, Bitcoin is hardly moving and it's basically stuck. So I wanted to take the opportunity to zoom out to the 4-hour time frame, explain our larger scenario again, larger degree, and the relevant pitfalls as well, and what could send us into a more bearish scenario, but that is not what I'm primarily looking for at the moment. Still worth reminding everybody from time to time. The idea is still that Bitcoin off this November low, which I currently count as the low of the bear market here in November, it rallied in 5 waves in basically a nice impulse. We then came down in a wave 2. Based on that, we would now be in a third wave rally. That can take us into the 40k region. In the third wave, we have 5 waves. So we're looking for a wave 1 here, done. We're looking for a wave 2 here. We're looking for a third wave. That could be the wave in which we are now. The third of a third wave. Again, within which we have 5 waves as well. And there should be a fourth and a fifth. And then it should cascade higher, possibly into the 50k region. I guess at that point, at some point, I think, and that's sort of just what I assume at the moment, we will see some kind of an alt season when there is just too much money in Bitcoin. Everything's overheated, and I think that money needs to go somewhere. And I think if the altcoins haven't taken off by then, that could be the moment at the end of a third wave rally when they will take off. And all that liquidity is flowing into the altcoins. I had a few questions about the so-called alt season. I don't think it necessarily has started yet. That's also based on our Bitcoin dominance chart I showed a few times. But I think one more rally for Bitcoin. And after that, we could see a decent alt season because at some point, it starts with Bitcoin typically. And then the money flows to Ethereum. But they run pretty much together. And then we could see the altcoins take off. But until then, I think Bitcoin could be leading. But there will be ups and downs. There will always be twists and turns between Bitcoin and the altcoins. But yeah, this is quite a bullish scenario. Of course, I'm only bullish as long as relevant support levels are holding. We have 2 key levels. I mean, we can make it very simple. We have, let me highlight that because I just want to make it crystal clear. There is this level. I mean, it's more like a range. Starting at 31.8k, I would say, going all the way up to that top back in June 22, which is at around 32.4k. Yeah? So you could say this is some kind of a structural resistance, but a very, very important one. And then we've got this yellow box down here, 22k. Below that level, we have a warning. This is not bearish yet, but we will have a warning. And then there is another level. I don't know where exactly it is. I would have to measure it. I don't want to change this previous box, but it will be around 18k. But I will define it then if it's important. And this is going to be the level below which we have to expect new bear market lows. So that means Bitcoin at the moment is in a zone which is basically a huge range. Bitcoin is very boring. Not much going on here. That's this range. You could say between 22k and the last swing high. This is Bitcoin. Range movement, boring, nothing happens, okay? Bitcoin just needs to break out. If Bitcoin breaks above that level, I think that is go time. You can see how relevant this resistance was back then. Didn't, obviously broke down, but Bitcoin hovered in this range in which we currently are for like 4 to 5 weeks. So this time is now basically over as well because it started to move in this range. Okay, 21st of June, so it could be there for a little while, but it's in a range basically, and all of this is still a bullish range because the trend is up, but it's still boring, and you could say it's a range, but it's a bullish range as long as we are above that yellow support level. But to confirm that it's bullish, it needs to break out. And that is the level that can send it way higher. Now, if price breaks below 22k, and we're far away from that at the moment, it's potentially going to turn bearish. But this is only a warning. It will then drop to around about 18K, and below 18K we have to expect new bear market lows. These are the three sections I've got on this chart. We are obviously at the top of the range. I mean, nobody's got the crystal ball yet. Does it break through straight away? Do we do an extended move down and then go up? I mean, this is what is going to be decided on the micro level, and I give my best to highlight to you all the relevant micro supports all the time. But that's why I highlighted that it's usually important to have a core position to leave trades a bit more space, because it takes a lot to invalidate the bullish scenario here. And I also recommend that people take some profits. I mean, that's entirely up to you. I cannot give you any advice. That's just sort of what I think is reasonable. Because we had a few good entry points like this one, like this one, like this one. And there were more, I took them out. But I mean, we've been bullish since sort of, end of November, December, probably in December, okay? So we've been bullish since December on Bitcoin. And because of that, obviously, I mean, it worked out. We moved up and up and up. So we're now at a point where there is a decent breakout point, but it is also the point where we are extremely far away from relevant invalidation points and a warning level. What does that mean? That means risk has increased, right? I mean, for anybody who's only in spot positions, that doesn't make a great difference, but even there you want to take some profits along the way, I guess. But if someone is sort of leveraged and everything, and you have a lot of risk in your portfolio, but you should be massively in profit based on that, depending on when you entered, but hard to believe someone is massively at a loss at the moment, assuming we talk about positions entered since June 22, okay? Unless you're short and you're short into an uptrend, but that's we didn't have any short setups here. So the idea is, it is a risk area here. The risk is there. The risk is there because it takes a lot of distance to know that we are bearish. So if you say, okay, I've got my position, I'm bullish, when do I know that I'm wrong? And you can see it is a massive drop that's needed for that, maybe even more. So that typically is what we call an area of high risk, because it takes so long to know that the assumption is wrong. If a huge drop is required to invalidate a scenario that is high risk, that's typically the time to take some profits. I'm just saying, if you do that, how you do that, that's up to you. I just want to mention that. Not that someone didn't say in the end, I should, why didn't you say? But a break above it, is going to spark a massive rally, in my opinion. So how to manage that tactically, and that's entirely up to you. But from a tactical point of view, what I think is reasonable is always to have a core position, add to core positions, for example, in these setback areas, and then you can always use the smaller areas to buy and sell smaller positions. And from that profit, you can add to your core position. So you don't touch your core position because that's your base. And then the floating positions are what you actually trade with. So if it breaks through straight away, you have your core positions and you're going to profit. And you can always, after the breakout, enter in a support and then, floating positions again. But the floating positions are what you can use to pay yourself regularly. So that's just sort of how I see the market here on the Bitcoin chart with regards to relevant levels. Let me know if that is useful. But just try to keep it very simple. And looking at the very short term now, our view is obviously we are in this yellow third wave that I just showed you. And in the third wave, we have 5 waves. And in the third wave, we have completed a wave 1 with last Thursday's high. And we're now in the wave 2. So this is the assumption currently, that this is currently a bear flag or something. It's not really a bear flag, but you know what I mean. Should ideally break down. Doesn't need to, because again, we are at the bottom of the range. So we're basically still in this range. Started on the 21st of June. But because we fulfilled the minimum expectations for this wave 1, we're now looking, okay, are we actually in this wave 2? That's sort of what I expect. But again, we always need the level to tell us, okay, when are we wrong or when am I wrong? And that would be above 30,650. That would be an early warning that something else is going on, something more bullish. And it might attempt another rally. But until then, I assume price is going to head down in 5 waves into the yellow support area as explained yesterday. No change, therefore I showed you the larger time frame. Here we've got the area between 29,150 and 26,280. Below 26,280, this scenario is not going to work out most likely. On the very short term, yeah, I think we could still be in this wave 4. So we need to have an open mind that this wave 4 might still be ongoing. By the way, let me change the wave degree. But yeah, no change to yesterday's video, so there's no need to go into any more detail because, again, different micro counts possible here, but the key is that the 30,650 level shouldn't be broken to the upside. Yeah, that's my update about Bitcoin. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.